I had Michael Madsen for about 2 days, so I had to pre-design those shooting days to only shoot his close-up. Since I am an editor myself, I knew what shots I was going to need and what shots I will be able to get away with by using a double. I must have had 4 doubles to play Michael in different locations. I probably did 1 master shot Michael was in, and everything else was shot as a close-up or a medium shot. All of Madsen's reverse was a double. It was difficult, but I was able to pull it off. You would never imagine Michael was only used for 2 days in the film. He's in the movie from the beginning to the middle and the end. Now, the post-production process took me about 4 months to edit and another 3 months to finish the audio. I had to redub all the voice of the leading lady due to many circumstances: time, money, availability, and so forth. I was so fortunate to have a voiceover actress who had a similar voice, who had to act out all the scenes of Christine's character. These are just some of the complications in making a movie with very little money. Chris Julian, my sound editor, is an Emmy Award-winning sound designer that did a fantastic job with the sound. He not only helped me with the sound, but he also helped me with the story. He added dialogue that was off-screen to make the movie make more sense. The stunt scene was the most scariest to do. I had more concern for Vinny Verone, who was doing his first high fall from a 4-story house. It's just nerve-wracking to do a stunt and something goes wrong and I would be responsible for it. I had 2 stuntmen do the high fall. Ken Lesko, a veteran stuntman, who did the first fall, and Vinny Verone, who did the second fall. There was a part of me that wanted to stop the second stunt that Vinny was going to do. As Ken Lesko told me, the first was good enough, but Vinny was so set in doing it that when I asked him not to do it, he insisted he had to do it. So I mostly did it for him. Fortunately, everything went smooth and no one was hurt. Each film I do, I get better and better as a storyteller. I just hope for one day I make a box office hit movie, and that is my aim. And so I'll keep making movies until I do make one that's going to be a box office hit. I came up with the story based on the character Billy, played by a very good friend of mine named Pauly D, who was also the executive producer of the film. So I found to be a very natural actor, a true thespian, you might say. We were up at his mountain house one weekend with a group of friends, and Paul would always put on this hillbilly character to make all of us laugh, and he would do it with such truthfulness, and I said, hey, we should make a movie out of that character. Paul has been playing this character for about 20 years, so one day he finally decides to make the movie, but to do it with very little money, which was a challenge. I first had to think of all the things he owned so I can put it into the story, so I did not have to pay for locations or any vehicles. Paul owned the airplane, mountain house, and limo. That was one way that I was able to save a lot of money and add production value to the film. The other challenge was getting name actors in the film, because without name actors and a low budget, it would be very hard to sell the movie. I'm one of those directors that look at the business side of things first. I look at the size of the budget and what type of movie to make in order to fit that budget that will have a high chance in making a profit, because it's so difficult to really make a movie and making profit out of it. Since I am a director and a producer, I have to balance the creative side and the financial side of the process. I truly believe it is much harder to make a low-budget movie than a studio movie. You know, with a studio movie, you hire the best people on your team and you make the movie. When you're doing a low-budget movie, you have to ask for favors, you have to deal with non-professionals most of the time because you have no money to pay a professional crew, so my support team is not all there. You know, making a movie is like going to war. You will always have obstacles. It is a given. You know, the challenge is looking at the problem and solving them in the most positive manner. The original story of this film was just a straight thriller about a sniper hunting down a woman for money, but because of complications with actors, the movie starts to get manipulated that I then have to make changes to save the movie. The original script was not what the movie turned out to be. Billy's character was never supposed to be a ghost, but I only had 60 minutes to the movie and I needed to extend the movie to about 90 minutes in order to sell it. I edited this film with an award-winning editor named Dennis Verkler, who told me the most interesting person in the movie was Billy's character. I had to somehow elaborate on that character to extend the movie, so I ended up with 2 genres, a sci-fi film and thriller. I always wanted to make a film with a positive ending. The media is such a powerful medium that I have a responsibility to at least have a positive message in all the films, even though I am supposed to make a movie about killing. When you do a low-budget movie, it is less of a risk to make a horror movie or a thriller movie. Your chances of making a profit is much higher than doing any other genre.